Hello everybody and welcome to the weekend review for the Monaco Grand Prix. Well, status quo with a little bit of interest happening in the middle as well. Bit of a disappointment that the rain came but didn't actually disrupt anything from the field. Max Verstappen taking his 39th career win, a record now at Red Bull, and another win this season as well, his fourth win of the season alongside Bahrain, Australia, Miami, and now of course here in Monaco with Emilia Romagna cancelled. That could have been Perez. Oh well, it looks like it's gone a little bit away. Okay, so let's start off then with Red Bull in the review. They're first up. As I said, Max Verstappen winning by 27.9 seconds as well in both dry to wet conditions. A remarkable performance. His teammate, however, Sergio Perez, just like in Australia, the last time Danny Ricciardo was here, the weekend from hell. And unfortunately for Sergio Perez, he finished not one, but two laps down in the event as well. Brilliant weekend from Max Verstappen. Worst weekend for Sergio Perez. I think this even beats Australia as well, because crashing in qualifying put him down on the grid, and it's a worse place here than in Australia. Let's hear what let's hear what they had to say, the team Red Bull, of course, in the drivers' press conference.
It was quite a typical Monaco. Just first of all, I didn't expect the rain to come, so that's why I think my first stint had to be that long, because if it would have been nice and sunny, we had the pit gap behind Fernando, so you could pit, put the hard tyres on, drive back up to Fernando and then just wait for him to pit. But because we knew that the rain was around, I had to stay out, and basically I had to do almost double the amount of laps than what we planned to do, which was very hard to manage because the tyres started to grain, and it took quite a few laps to get through that graining phase and the tyres to cool down. But luckily, I think those last 10 laps are quite crucial, where I was more or less matching his laps, so we didn't really lose out too much. Then of course it started to rain, and it was very difficult with worn tyres to keep it on the track.
Really difficult day out there, and everything that could have gone wrong went, and really sad with the performance, but not of today. Basically from yesterday, with my mistake, we knew that this was the price that we were going to pay.
Aston Martin up next, but this time it's Fernando Alonso for the first time this year, finishing in second place as well. Every weekend this year, he's picked up at least 15 points here. He picks up a total of 18 as well, which is absolutely fantastic. And another podium. I think he's fourth now at the circuit, which is absolutely fantastic. Maybe he's fifth, actually, alongside 2 wins and 2 podiums alongside. So this will be his 5th time on the podium here in Monaco. So great day for him as well. But worst day for Lance Stroll as well, DNFing from the race, and was 2 retirements officially, but Stroll retiring from the race early on, sadly, as well. This is what they had to say in the media pen.
I'm happy. I think we didn't have the chance. Obviously, Max was quicker than us right from the beginning until the end. So, we have to accept that. And second was the best place for us today. And the race was not easy to execute, especially when the rain hit us. We were considering if stopping for inters or for dry tires. We did double stop there, so it was a little bit confusing. But luckily we didn't lose any position. But it was not an easy afternoon.
Right now I'll be busy packing my bags early and heading home. Looking forward to Barcelona.
Was it just pretty frustrating that it just didn't really go right from the start?
It was just not one to remember.
Definitely think Alonso could be in contention for a race win this year, but they've got to pick it up. Okay, next up is Alpine as well, and as he puts it, Esti Besti's on the podium as well. A fantastic performance from Esteban Ocon, the first Frenchman since Olivier Panis back in 1996 to stand on the podium here in Monaco. Panis won that day, of course, but Esteban finishing in third, picking up 15 points, which is vital for the Constructors' Championship battle with McLaren that they've been having. So a great day for them and a great job in total. Pierre Gasly making it a double points paying position to the 2 French drivers for the Alpine French team at Monaco, the south of France. Absolutely fantastic. So Gasly finishing in 7th, a really good, decent result from Alpine. Crucial points, a total as well on the board of 21 points. Brilliant for them. This is what they had to say in the media pen.
I'm speechless. I'm on my cloud at the moment. I don't know what to say. Before the weekend, if you told us that we are going to be in the top 10, we would have been happy, But it's not the top 10. It's not the top 5. It's a podium. Yes, we are on it, and the energy I've received from everyone, from that weekend it's been awesome, and I can't thank everyone enough for the support I got, and that one goes to all the team, from Viry to Enstone to the track. This one's for us, and hopefully there's many more to come.
On my side, I'm obviously disappointed and a bit confused with the decision we made, because we were P3 at the time with the rain coming, so I was kind of rubbing my hands because it was the perfect scenario for us, and then we decided to box for 2 laps with the soft before we had to switch to the inter. So at that time I feel like we had a P3, P4 for the team, and could have been better, but it's part of the sport, and we'll analyze what we could have done better.
Easy next for the next 2 Mercedes as well, Russell and Hamilton as well. Hamilton finishing 4th, could have been a podium. He complained in qualifying that the car wasn't to his liking as well, how he was struggling with control of it, but absolutely dominated as well to get through. He faced not 1 but 2 qualifying expulsions as well, but managed to get into Q3 and stick it up the high on the grid. He finished 20 seconds ahead of George Russell, who had a time penalty as well for when he locked up when the rain came back on the track and clipped the side of Sergio Perez, well, despite Perez also having a moment. So Russell really shouldn't have had that penalty, but a dangerous rejoin is a dangerous rejoin as well. So Hamilton 4th, Russell 5th, a total as well of 23 points gained for them. This is what they had to say in the media pen.
It wasn't a lot of fun today. Monaco is never really a lot of fun in the race because you're having to save tyres and you're driving around pretty slow, to be honest. I mean, when you're driving around at 70%, 80% most of the time, just saving your tyres and waiting for a safety car or something to happen. So you're never actually pushing the car ahead of you because you've got to save the tyres. So it's not the greatest, but at the end it was quite interesting with the rain. That made it really difficult.
Kicking myself, to be honest. One small mistake cost us a podium. I came out of pits comfortably ahead of Ocon and Lewis. There was a yellow flag at turn 5. I backed off, and as soon as I pressed the brakes, I locked up and followed the yellow flag. And I think that's almost a lesson that when you're not focused sometimes, or you're not on it, that sometimes when mistakes happen. And I probably wouldn't have made that mistake if there wasn't a yellow flag there. So it's really disappointed, because after that pit stop, it was basically a guaranteed podium.
On to Ferrari then, with Leclerc 6th and Sainz in 8th as well. So it's only the second time Leclerc's finished here. Of course, crashed out in 18, crashed out in 19. We didn't race here in 20. Didn't start in 2021. And, of course, now in 2022 finished 4th. 2023 as well, he finishes in 6th position. Could have been more, but the car just wasn't with him this weekend as well, and struggling as well with the intermediate conditions. Sainz in 8th. I mean, it's points for them on the board, a total of 12, but it should have been a lot more from Ferrari here at the circuit. Sainz crashing, of course, having a worse weekend. This is what they had to say in the media pen.
After yesterday, the 3 grid places penalty, starting 6th, there wasn't much more. I mean, the pace wasn't great today. I mean, it was actually quite good on the hard. On the slicks, it was good, but there's nothing to do here. So it was basically a waiting game, and then when we started to push, the tires had gone away a little bit, so it was a shame.
I was frustrated, but don't judge me for the comments on the radio at the 300 kph in Monaco. In the walls, we are all a bit either frustrated or excited, however you want to call it. Today for me it was maybe a bit of frustration, but it was 2 critical pit stops. One we did it too late, one we did it too early maybe, and that's Monaco. A bit of a lottery, and today maybe we didn't get it right.
McLaren next up, and it's Norris 9th, Piastri 10th. Great job. Double points, 3 on the board for McLaren as well. Norris finishing as well in a good position. We thought he might have problems in the race after what we saw in practice and qualifying, but he got through it and did an absolutely fantastic job. And so did Oscar Piastri as well, finishing in 10th position. Be a lap down. They were the two who did the first 2 drivers to be lapped by Max Verstappen, but McLaren on the up. And a good double points finish, considering we know the problems they had with the car at the start of the year. This is what they had to say in the media pen.
We just shouldn't have boxed for the hard tyre. I guess I'm talking in hindsight, but with the information that I was given, which was it was not going to rain a lot at all, I was happy with boxing onto the hard. But it rained a hell of a lot more. So I don't know, we just didn't read the conditions right or something, and I don't know what it was, but should have. Maybe I should have questioned it more. It's hard to say. We'll review it all after. But we maybe lost 30 seconds from doing the pit stops. And 30 seconds easily would have put me P5 or something, So
I think starting from 11th, getting into the points is a good effort around Monaco. So happy with that. I think we executed the race very well. Firstly, we're starting on the hards. And then going on to the inters, I think at the right time as well, and just communicating very well on that. So happy with that. After a point, to get a point in the first Monaco weekend, very, very happy.
Alfa Romeo next. Bottas in 11th position. Once again, missing out on points this season is Valtteri Bottas. The season from hell for him is continuing. Fingers crossed he has a better result next time out at the Spanish Grand Prix. Maybe they're going to have to wait and see what Canada brings them as well, but really was quite bad there. Further down as well, Zhou Guanyu finishing in 13th position. No points for them on the board. A trouble-free day, a few offs for the two of them when the rain came, but it was pretty much a bad weekend once again. Here they are.
We were the early ones to stop for the Inter, which seemed to be the right call today, and made up a couple of places with that, but still not enough for points, unfortunately. But I wouldn't do anything different today. I think we had a good try. Probably the only thing today was the slow pit stop. It was like 8 seconds or something. So, but apart from that, pretty good day.
Went quite well until the rain decided to drop. We took the gambling pit lap 1 together with Sergio. We was able to hold up the pace, catch up the field again. The time we lost in the pit, and everything's looking good for our top 10 finish. Actually, I think in theory was ahead of Sonoda if they do a pit stop, but unfortunately the rain dropped, and then they all had a kind of free pit stop, and then the risk of this strategy didn't really pay off. But still, I think it was a promising afternoon.
AlphaTauri next. We get De Vries in 12th and Sonoda in 15th as well. Now, Sonoda was 2 laps down, the same as Perez, and De Vries only a lap down. So, for once, I think that's Nick De Vries' best sort of bump up this season as well. It's 12th position. Got lucky with the rain. We felt comfortable with the car. He's growing. We're going to have to wait for it as well. I think that's going to be quite a good result. Amidst the pressure that he might be replaced by Danny Ricciardo, it's nice to see an okay weekend as well from De Vries to outperform his teammate as well. Zhou in 15th, got in trouble with the rain as well. Was swearing over the radio saying that the brakes don't work, had brake failure several times. This is what they had to say in the media pen.
I think it was a solid weekend. I think the target of today's race was to kind of execute a solid race on our behalf, and then wait for the mistakes to come towards us. And I think that's what we did. It was not enough for points, but I think it was a solid race regardless.
I struggled whole week, but because of it was dry condition was okay. But when this rain started, just the brake issue got exaggerated, and I couldn't do anything, and the pace was really bad.
How tough was it to just keep the car pointing in the right direction?
Yeah, it was really hard, and just have to back off a lot to not crash, and at least I didn't damage my car, but it was really tricky to handle it.
Williams next up then, and Albon in 14th with Sargent 18th, both 2 laps down. Albon did qualify quite high as well, but the rain came, bad pit stops, all went out the window quite early on. Sargent pitted on the opening lap as well after damage. So he's pretty much... the attempt up the field was gone early on. Albon too having problems in the race. So miserable weekend for Williams and what promised to be quite a good showing from them here in Monaco. Here they are.
A race I must really need to watch back to understand how everything unfolded. Normally when you have rain conditions like that, it's chaos. But somehow it didn't feel like chaos. It felt like everything still felt stagnant, and I felt like there was not many opportunities to be had. So we did a good job. I was surprised how many people started on hard tyres and how many people changed so quickly to hard tyres straight away. That hard tyre was so much stronger than the medium tyre. It kind of threw everything out because it became a race where you just jumped on the hards as early as possible and just stayed on it.
Yeah, tough day. Decent enough first lap. I mean, people were sending it. I was surprised how hard people were going for it. But yeah, first 10 laps were okay, still in a decent position. And then those medium tires just got away from us so quick. I was really surprised. Yeah, tough. And then once we got on the prime tire, had a puncture 2 or 3 laps in. That's about as bad as you can get when you don't have another set of those. Had to take the quali tire long, which is never good.
Last team then, and it's Haas with Hülkenberg 17th and Magnussen in 19th, retiring from the race. Now, Hülkenberg, I was expecting a lot from him this weekend. Sadly, it didn't turn up. Fingers crossed he'll get back into the swing of things as well in that Haas car. My biggest surprise, though, has to come from Magnussen. Full wet weather conditions, and he is out there on dry compound tyres. I don't know what they were thinking. Nobody knows what they're thinking. They were thinking it could go to safety car and red flag. It didn't. It stayed under green. In fact, this race didn't even have a safety car or red flag. So it was a very bad race from them, and he ended up retiring pretty much like last year. In the pit lane, when we cut to a camera shot, and he was out of the race. Nobody knows when that happened. So here they are then in the media pen.
Obviously, yeah, the weekend not not good. But still, somehow the race was fun. Go through different stages. Obviously all the different tires and conditions. Happy to have survived it. I think I came through quite well. I feel the pace was actually pretty decent whenever I had some clear track. But for most of the race I was stuck in traffic like you are in Monaco, as we knew. But it is what it is. I think we need to reset, regroup, go again in a few days, luckily.
We tried everything, tried to do the opposite to everyone, and it didn't work out. I think, initially in the dry, it was looking interesting, but then when the wet came, I stayed out, hoping for a red flag, hoping for someone to crash either a safety car or a red flag.
Okay, so we'll be back then for the Spanish Grand Prix on Thursday the 1st for all of the action as well from the press conference, and the 2nd, 3rd and 4th will be there for all the action from F1, F2 and F3, and we can't wait. We've also got Formula E, British Touring Cars and IndyCar to cover as well. It's going to be quite the exciting weekend. So join us for the Spanish Grand Prix. Monaco's done for another year. Let's fingers crossed that it's going to be a better half of the season from now. Spanish Grand Prix in a new layout is next. From us all here, bye-bye.